Keo River, there's about 6 reasons for going there. The first reason is you should at least go there at least once. And second reason is if there's a lack of fish at Klekthui, and if you want to see and fish with the bears. Some people don't fish at Klekthui, they just like to go to the Keogh because of the exercise getting there. The fish, the species that run is the fish seem to be bigger. The pinks seem to be bigger there. And the last reason, if you want to play with the seals, because often there's seals there that you have to fish in between. One important thing you should remember about there is that the regulations are different between the Keogh and the Klekthui River. If you're looking up the regulations for Klekthui, it's the island, it's 12-17. And the Keogh regulations are 12-16. And I've been there when there are different regulations. And I almost got caught by the warden at one time. I've been there at times when there were so many fish that if your back cast touched the water, you'd catch a fish. Unbelievable. If you've never been there before, you should arrange for someone to take you in for the first time. It's usually at daybreak. And you want to print out a tide chart, whether you're at Klekthui or the Keogh for alert day. That's the best tide chart you can get. It's about a half an hour drive to the parking lot from Klekthui. And then once you're at the parking lot, it's about a half an hour or 3/4 of an hour hike in. And it's in back of the Port Hardy Airport. So there's a fence. And there's a trail along the fence, and it's very narrow and treacherous at times. I know some guys take their bicycles in there, but you have to be a really good mountain biker. I tried it once, and I ended up just parking a bike and walking the rest of the way in. You can take a boat in there, but from Klekthui, it's about 12-kilometer open ocean waters. I don't recommend it. I did take my boat there one year to the parking lot and launched it at the parking lot. And I was transferring some friends from the parking lot to the river. But my motor ran into trouble because of all the seaweed out there. It clogged up my intake. So taking a boat there is not really a good option. You do need a good pack sack. And your rod should be in a rod case. Now in your pack sack, you're going to need several things. I recommend is a fillet knife, because if you intend to keep fish, it's easier to haul them out and lighter if you fillet the fish rather than take the whole carcass out. You're going to need your spare flies. Fishing in this pack sack, you're going to need all these things: the flies, fishing vest, your waders, your boots. I recommended bringing some dry t-shirts and socks and shirt, because you're going to get wet from 3 different things: either perspiration, walking in. It could be quite damp, and your clothes can get quite wet walking in. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need some water, maybe a snack of some kind, plastic bags to haul out your wet clothes and your fish with. You're going to need your sunglasses, of course, camera. In my vest, I always carry a few Band-Aids and some string for removing a hook if you get one stuck in yourself. when you're filleting the fish, make sure you leave the tail on so that the wardens can identify what kind of species of fish you have.
You need to leave the head on as well?
No, just as long as they can identify the tail as what kind of species it is. I was there with my son one year and fishing. The regulations had changed the night before and someone told me about it. But then I saw him on the phone and he was calling the wardens. And the wardens actually, when we went back to the parking lot, stopped us there to check our fish. So this gentleman thought we had too many fish, but actually we had just the right amount. There's no real current there. It's just a tide coming in and out. But you have to be cautious because the rocks can be really, really slippery, especially on the far side from algae or from seaweed. But that's where I use studded boots. We've discussed bears before. So when you're walking in, make sure you're talking or making noise. And I suggest you stay on the left side of the river because the bears tend to go on the other side.
Say left, what do you mean?
Well, when you're facing the ocean,
Yeah.
You stay on the near side of the river. Now, when we talk about bears, I carry with me a bear banger. And I've had this for years. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it still works or not, but I've been carrying it for years. It comes in a kit with bangers and flares for emergencies. So I put this in my vest. And right now you can see a bear banger in there, but it's on safety. To ignite it, I'd have to move that switch up, pull the spring up and release it. And then I carry a spare with me in a waterproof container. I've got two of these, one for me and one for someone that's going with me. So if I run into trouble, at least someone else will have a bear banger if I can't access mine. People also use bear spray. They carry bear spray with them. Dale, do you take anything with you?
No, but 2 years ago, one walked all the way around along the beach, right almost to me before it swung off in the trail. And I wish I had something with me, but it would be wise. I go in just as soon as I can see the path in the morning. So I'm usually the first one in there. And that's when you're most likely to run into them because it's still really darkish. And I think after that in daylight, but I make lots of noise. I went in this year in a bicycle and I tied my, what do you call that container you put around your waist to hold the fly line? Anyway, I put a couple stones in that. So on the bicycle, they kept going bang, 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 bang all the way in. So they had lots of warning I was coming. The first day I didn't do that and I ran into two on the last little strip right to the water and one on the way back out. So you need to give them warning and they will just kind of head back into the berry plants. But my belief is a bear is still a bear. So you got to give them respect.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They have a small air horn that they sell at Island Outfitters that I used once this year on the Souk. And I think I scared every fisherman on the river for I don't know how far, but I certainly, the bear moved away from me and it just fits right in one of the pockets of my fly vest.
Other than that, that's all I have. Just if you haven't been there before, just arrange for someone to go with you. And you may not remember all these things, but at least you've heard them at least once. And I'm still hoping that we've got about 20, 22 people signed up for Kluxuya this year. Made our reservations. We didn't need to put any deposits down. So we're still waiting to see if they're even going to be open up this year. So I'll keep an eye on that. And the thing about getting to the Keogh really early, like Dale likes to get there, is that you get to pick your spot. And whether the tide's going out or coming in, if you've got a really good spot and you're on top of the fish, you're eventually going to lose that spot due to the tide coming in. And so if someone's there and they're catching fish and it's a really good spot, just pick a spot that you think the tide is going to come up to where that person can't backtrack, because once he comes to you, he's got to go around you, and then you've got the hot spot sort of thing. So that's, and there is a road going in from the parking lot to the river, but it's on the other side of the fence, which is locked. And some people, I guess they're employees, federal employees, do have access to that gate. Other people who have access to that gate are, I've seen a group of handicapped children coming in there with some adults for a day trip, and they got permission to use that road. But the path along the fence, on the outside the fence, used to be kept up by the West Coast fly fishers. And they used to go in there with chainsaws and knives and stuff and clear it out. But they haven't been doing that lately, so it's pretty overgrown. And in some cases, you have to leave that trail or go to the beach and walk along the beach before you can access the trail again. Anything to add, Dale? I don't know what else to say.
No, the thing, if the fish are in Kluxuya, you got a mile, maybe half mile of beach to fish on. Whereas at the Keogh, you have maybe 100 yards.
If you're lucky, yeah.
It maybe not even that. At high tide, maybe 100 yards, and low tide less, because as the tide goes out, you're into a bunch of weeds there. I'm not sure what kind of weeds they are, so you can't cast into it. And so if it is more than 12 people there that day, you can't move up and down to your spot. You may have a real poor day there because you're just simply in the wrong spot, and there's really no way to get to other spots. That's how it is. Now, if they aren't biting at Kluxuya at all, then Keogh works, because there could even like the first 2 years I went, I never landed one fish off the Keogh. It's not like they're there all the time. This year there was a lot of fish there, but it can be very poor when it's poor, but it can be really good when it's good. I don't know if I'm going in circles, but there's no guarantees there, but there's a lot more room at Kluxuya itself to track down fish, where you're out of luck at the Keogh.
Yeah. If you're going into the Keogh with someone, what we usually do is we pack the night before, put our rods and reels and everything else in cases, and pack our packbacks. And at daybreak, we'll carpool to the Keogh. Having said that,
guys, thanks very much. I gotta go.
okay. If you carpool in with 2 or 3 other guys, dry clothes are important, because if you fall in, even if it's up to your arm, you get wet and you fall in, you're cold and miserable. That means everybody's got to leave. So bring some dry clothes with you, and of course, rain gear if there's forecast for rain that day. But usually in the morning, walking in, the bushes will be full of dew. So your pants are going to get wet. Your clothes are going to get wet. So I know people who used to wear rain pants in just to prevent that. That's about it, I guess. Just go with someone that's been there before and they can show you the ropes. On the way home, once you leave the parking lot, there is a small corner store, just a half mile down. It's off the main road. I think might be a gas station there or something. If you want to pick up some milk or bread or something, or, you know, save you a trip into town later on, there is a small store if you want to pick up some ice cream or something like that.
Where's that corner store?
I can't remember exactly, but once you leave the airport, there's a road going off to the right. And I think there might be some kind of a service station or something at that corner. And it's just a few hundred yards down the road.
I think it's closed now.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't very big to begin with, so yeah.
This is the main road you're talking about, the highway, yeah?
No, just outside. But like Dale says, if it's closed, it's closed. It was just outside the airport area. Again, when I go there, I'll take these flies I call the Keoghs with the barbell eyes, and just my regular, all my other regular pink flies too. That's about it, guys. That's all I have for now. Any questions? No. All right. We'll see you Tuesday. Thank you.
Have a good week, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.